All right, sitting here with Coach Chris O'Brien of the East Jessamine Jaguars. And, Coach, you're off to 5-0 on the season, and great game again tonight.
You know, give a lot of credit to Lincoln County. They're a solid basketball team. We may have to face them again in a couple weeks, and it's going to be a battle. You know, Jeff does a great job down there. Obviously, we're really happy with the 5-0 start, but we have a lot to work on. We were very undisciplined tonight. We didn't do the little things that we need to on defense, and we're not making the extra passes. At least we didn't in this game. So we've got a lot of things that we need to work on.
I saw, you subbed very well tonight. It seemed like one of the guys that came in, Rock in there, Rocco, he did an outstanding job. Honeycutt came in there.
Jared really did. He did a great job. He took a charge. He really, I thought, took 2 charges that, they didn't call, but those things happen. But he did what we needed him to. He gave Timmy and Cody a little bit of a breather, and he gave us positive minutes. And if he can do that night in, night out, that just helps our team out tremendously. Austin came in, he was scrappy. He didn't hit a shot, but that's, you're not going to hit them all. But as long as you're playing hard and doing the little things, then that gives us positive minutes, and that's what we try to get out of our bench.
You got quite the stars on your team over there. I'll start with C.J. Boyd. I mean, he's just amazing talent at the point. He kind of reminds me of a young John Wall at a different level, or a Brandon Knight, somebody like that. He's got that type of game.
I wish he could jump like John Wall. And he is very explosive. His first step is as quick as anybody around, and he does a great job getting in the rim. He can finish with both hands. He's been a tremendous asset, obviously, to our basketball team. Defensively, he gets after people. He gets his hands in a lot of passes. He's leading us in deflections. He and Ronnie both actually, and he does a great job with putting pressure on the ball and getting back and making the guys work, and that's what we need to do.
Cody Collins took a couple charges in the ball game, and then of course Rocco in there as well. I like to call him the Rock. I don't know why, but I'm a wrestling fan, I guess. But Rocco took a couple charges in there, and those are the type of guys. Bradshaw as well. He really played scrappy tonight. All 3 of those guys.
They did, and as long as we can play as a team and get a little bit more disciplined about ourselves on the defensive side, we shot too many gaps that we shouldn't have. We had people rotate when they weren't supposed to because they weren't disciplined enough to stay in the passing lane, and they waited, or they didn't wait long enough. They just reacted, and we've got to do a better job of teaching them to sit back, guard the passing lane, because there were several times we had 3 people trapping the ball, and that means there's just way too many people open to guard, and we gave up too many layups doing that. But we'll get better as the season goes along. I'm very proud of this win. Obviously, Lincoln County's a great basketball team. Right. They're gonna do nothing but improve as well. They're gonna be very scary down the stretch, and we just got to make sure that we keep improving each day.
Let me touch on a couple more of your players, and then we kind of talk about the 12th region if you got time, Coach. But you hear the fans chanting out here, he's a freshman, and we're talking about Ronnie Carsons.
Right. He's a tremendous talent. He has a long way to go just in terms of his mental capacity of the game. Right. But from a raw just talent standpoint, obviously he does things you can't coach.
Right.
He sees the floor tremendously well as anybody in the state. He's got great hands. He does a lot of little things. He's got to decide that he's going to work just a little bit harder here and there, and he could be one of the best players in the state, no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely got game out there, and just a talent that you can't really coach, but you're glad that you can coach him, right?
Right, exactly. Definitely glad he's here.
And then you got a guy that's really stepped up, and Tayshawn Harrison, man, his game's really elevated.
He really has, and he worked on his shooting so much this summer, and it's starting to pay off. He struggled a little bit at first, but that comes with the speed and getting used to the game, from practice to game time. But he's really coming along. His defense obviously is tremendous as it is, but he really worked on his outside shooting. He's becoming a deep threat.
Take me back to when Lincoln County had a fast break, and then all of a sudden Harrison came out of nowhere and blocked the kid's shot in the ball game.
That was a very athletic play, and he did a great job. He hustles. And you got to have kids that are willing to, go that little bit extra every now and then to make up for a mistake here and there. We had somebody that was out of position on defense, but he came back and made up for it, and that was huge.
Let's talk about the 12th region, and I hope I'm not forgetting any of the guys. There's so many that are on your team there that are just outstanding.
It's a nice problem to have.
You got depth on the team. Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about the region. You guys right now were picked 3rd in the region. I think that's ridiculous. I think you're the best team I've seen. I've seen Pulaski. I've seen Southwestern. I've seen Lincoln County now.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. But, to me, that there's 5 of us right there, and really maybe even 6. And to me, it would be Pulaski, Southwestern. There's us. There's Boyle. There's Lincoln, and there's West. And there's some other guys behind them that you can't come unprepared for. If you do, they'll get you. But I think those top 6 there are any one of us could win on any given night. And there's a lot of talent in the 12th this year. And we're really strong. We're really deep, and all the teams are. It's going to be interesting down the stretch, no doubt about that.
the 12th region tournament this year is going to be at Lincoln County, and that's going to be scary because you mentioned Lincoln County, how good they are now. I mean, you guys seem like you're a lot better tonight because every time you led the whole game, by the way, and I think that's pretty important because that's the first time I've ever seen you guys, you know, lead the whole game against Lincoln County. They're always pretty competitive, and it seems like you just got everything working right.
Well, I still feel like we have a lot to work on. You know, we don't have Cameron Thomas. He'll be another asset. We've got to work on our rotations when he gets back. Just in terms of our substitution patterns, we got to get him, you know, in shape and ready to go. And he's going to be obviously 3 or 4 more weeks from now. And we've got to keep preaching to the kids. They got to stay humble, they got to stay hungry, and they got to stay unselfish. And if we can do that and play as a team, we have a chance to do some things.
Talk about Cameron Thomas just for a second. I know he's injured, and it's probably going to be a few weeks before we see him, you know, back in your lineup. But how's the substitution pattern going to work, or how's it going to work, you know, for say a guy like C.J. Boyd? How's his role going to change in Harrison? You know, when you got a Cameron Thomas out there that can run the point too.
Well, we're teaching Cameron all the positions. He's actually back practicing. He's just not been cleared. Doesn't have his knee brace. So he's learning the 4 position. He's learning the 5. You know, obviously size inside is one of the things we're lacking, but he is so strong and athletic that he can play that role. So having him and CJ out there at the same time won't hurt us. You know, we're working on some 2 point guard sets, you know, that we can utilize both of them at the same time because obviously they're just both so athletic. We got to have them out there as much as possible.
Gotcha. Well, Coach, great victory tonight against Lincoln County. And what's up next for you?
Mercer County Tuesday.
Oh, so it don't stop, does it?
Big district game. Big district game.
All right, so Coach Chris O'Brien. And, Coach, you know, I want to take the time, too, just to publicly apologize and while we're here on air.
You don't have to do that.
That Boyle County game during that last shot, you know, I thought that we watched it in real time, and, you know, to me, I thought the basket was good. But, there's, you know, you got to go back and watch stuff in slow motion, and I was wrong, Coach, and I'm sorry.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks so much, William. I really do. Thank you.
You are, by the way, and I'll tell everybody this. You guys are my favorite team out there.
Thank you.
You know, regardless of what teams we carry, you know, I'm a Jaguar at heart. So.
We love you, too. You know that.
All right. Sounds good. Coach Chris O'Brien and Wesley Pike's going to step in here and interview a couple of your players, Coach. And Wesley Pike.
All right, I'm here with Ronnie Carson, young freshman for East Jessamine. Excellent game here tonight, Ronnie. Tell me a little bit. You and I have had the chance to talk. I mean, I've had the opportunity to have you in my presence for a little while, you know, playing some basketball and things. And you're a joy to watch. I mean, it's a pleasure, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen with you in the future. But tell me a little bit about how different it's been, you know, making this transition from middle school to jumping straight into varsity.
You just got to play hard all times. That's really it. Make sure you do what you got to do.
Well, and it looks like that you guys have bought into the system that Coach O'Brien has laid out for you. I mean, I'm seeing here tonight you jumped in there with 18 points, and folks, that's impressive right here in this 12th region with a young man like you. It's just things are going to be looking up, and the sky's the limit for you. And excellent game tonight. We're proud of you. Nice job to Ronnie Carson. We've got C.J. Boyd. I want to take a few minutes and talk with C.J. and Ronnie Carson, the freshman. C.J. Boyd, the man we've nicknamed the General, 23 points tonight. C.J., I was talking with William Warfield there a little bit ago, and it's amazing to watch the transition that you guys have made. Now, these kids have grown up playing with Cameron Thomas, and you've stepped in and you filled a huge void. And tell me a little bit about that, because it looks like when the ball is inbounded to you or to others at times, you know, things are a little bit chaotic. But as soon as the ball gets in your hands, you can see the sigh of relief on the faces of your team, and they trust you. They believe in you. How have you gained that trust from them?
Just every day, hard work and practice, you know, and just proving to my teammates every day that I can handle it, and I know they can handle it. And so that's why I want them to look at me like as a leader and everything, so they can believe in me.
Well, thus far, this is a young season, but you've done an excellent job so far, and I have to think that things are going to get better and a whole lot easier on you too when Cameron comes back. That's going to give you the opportunity to take a couple more breathers. I know at that age, you really don't want a breather, but as the season goes on, you're going to need them and to step in there and do what you've done. And it's amazing to watch right now. Even after every game that you've had, that's, you know, and all of them have been great so far. The games that you've had, there are still times when you'll see people just kind of shy away from you, and that's when you snap. And there's a couple times tonight, people just kind of forgot about C.J. Boyd, and the next thing you know, he's driving to the lane and scoring 6, you know, back to back to back. How does that help your game or hurt your game?
It helps it tremendously, really, that the coach has confidence in me to take those type of shots and just take the control of the game. And so I just thank coach for that.
Well, absolutely an excellent game again tonight, CJ. 23 points, 3 rebounds for a young guard. Young man, nice game.
All right, thank you.
Wesley Pike for Prep Spin. You've been watching Prep Spin. East Jessamine Jaguars on top of the Lincoln County Patriots. So long.
Good job, CJ.
Nice job, CJ. Keep it up, bud.
I wonder if that's set up.